Great morning, great morning, great morning. Why? Because my creator, your creator said, rise, rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, children of the Lord. That's what my mama used to say every morning, getting up her six chilling, rise for school. But the song really goes, rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, rise, shine. Give God the glory, glory, rise, shine. Give God the glory, glory, soldiers of the Lord. We should give him the honor, the praise, the glory, the hallelujah, the worship, and most importantly, the acknowledgement. Because he chose you and he chose me to rise, to rejoice and be glad in this day we will never, ever, ever see again. So we were chosen just for this day to be of service to him, for us to seek his guidance, to be of service to our fellow man. All right? And so I thank my God for choosing me and preparing me 33 years ago from underneath a parked car, from a severe addiction and mental illness known as the co-occurring diseases. But guess what? There's no diseases in God's world, right? I tell you what, on earthly matters, they're full of diseases. But thank God for 12 spiritual principles from the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous that I was introduced to while underneath that parked car when he decided to save me, allow me to live so that he can put me in front of you this day. All right? And I will be incorporating the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family and transformational teachings by Dr. Sonja of P3 University. But before I even introduce myself, I give acknowledgement to my God. But I am Edwina B., known as Miss Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. If you see some of my previous podcasts, you will see why. But today I come to you just the way I am, hoping that you focus just on the spiritual message and not the messenger. Okay? So I want to introduce 2 songs because y'all got me for an hour today. My 12-step meeting is not until 9 o'clock. So from 7:30 to 8:30, we're going to cover a lot. And so I want to begin with 2 songs that I do not own the rights to, dedicating them to my mother. This first one is from her husband, Arthur Taylor, known as Daddy Taylor. Uh-huh. Her second husband blessed her with 41 years of happiness. And for that, we as the children of Eddie and Helen Hall are so grateful for God to introduce my mother to a godly man, which she prayed for, and he delivered. So he always, always sung this song to her at each and every ceremony, and sometimes just to let her know how beautiful she is to him. All right, so listen to the spiritual words, listen with your spiritual ears, and meditate on who in your life is so beautiful to you. You have to learn to love yourself first before you can love anybody else. You first have to see the beauty within you before you can see the beauty in somebody else. So I thank God for my spiritual transformation to achieve a psychic change. I am beautiful today. Not just my body, most importantly, my spirit. Here's to you, Mommy, from Daddy T. so beautiful. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see everything I hope for? Everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. You are so can you see? You're everything I hope for. Everything I You are so beautiful. Wasn't that beautiful? That's why I said, wait a minute. I got this poster that I believe my sister Ruby put together, right? And so this is what I mean by relationships that, oh, hold on, that, God has blessed in so many ways. And so I wanted to dedicate that song to my mother from her husband. All right. And let's see, I have another song that I want to make. Let's see, dedicate to my mother. Okay. And this is by Luther Barnes and his group. And my mother, this is one of her favorite songs. Okay. I remember when I was growing up, I used to hear the old folks sing this song. Oh, I didn't understand what they were singing about because I really didn't know what they were going through. But now that I've grown up to become a man, I understand what they meant when they sang this song. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stay. I get so tired, I get so weak, I get worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on by the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. With my way, rose tree, precious
dark disappear and the night draws near. When the day has passed and gone, at the river, Lord, I stand. God, my feet, hold my hand, take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home.
All right. Precious Lord, lead me on. And so now I can get to the topic of today, but I wanted to first give homage to the creator of us all and to dedicate those two songs, which I do not own the rights to my Heavenly Mother on her birthday that occurred on March the 23rd, but she celebrated every day during the month of March. My mother was blessed with Eddie Hall, who blessed her with 6 childrens. Mhm. But Eddie Hall was an interesting character, and she experienced more turmoil than she did happiness with him. However, she thanked him for allowing God to use him to bless her with her 6 children. But after a while, my mama got sick and tired of being sick and tired of Eddie Hall. Although she was there at the end for him, bathing him, taking care of him, while she was married to Arthur Bernard Taylor. She prayed for a God-fearing man, and God sent her daddy, her Taylor, Arthur Bernard, Taylor. All right. And so for 41 years, they were united and were inseparable during the whole time. So thank you, Daddy T. We love you. All right. Now, I am, like you said, you heard, I'm at Weena B. Right. So let's take this away. And let me share with you, right, how 33 plus years ago, while underneath a parked car in the streets of Philadelphia, I was 34 years old. I was in my severe addiction, along with my stepson, who was the same age, in his severe addiction. We were getting high and I was doing all kinds of sexual favors for him just to get one more. When it was all said and done, he wanted to hurt me. Under the influence, we transformed. As he threw the first punch that landed on my face, I jumped out of the car and I started what I thought was running for my life. He pursued me, and as I was running, I got a flashback from my past when I played hide and seek. If I just get under the bed, he can't find me. He can't get to me. They can't find me. They can't get to me. I continued to run, and I saw the slew of cars. And that flashback told me if I just get underneath that parked car, he can't harm me. He can't hurt me. I only weighed 90 pounds, face all sunken in, dark circles around my eyes. My hair was short and matted, and I had very few teeth. The self-loathing, the hatred, the guilt, the shame, the hopelessness, the helplessness, spiritually bankrupt, spiritually dead. As my face laid on that ground, the flashbacks continued. Edwina, you was the class vice president. You were the co-captain of the cheerleader team. You even wanted to be a model or actress and a phys ed teacher. You were voted one of the ones two most likely to succeed. You was even deemed the smartest of your 6 kids. Your children admired you, respected you, and for some reason, you thought you was all that at that time. But the disease of addiction, unknowingly to me, crept into my life and progressed along the way until February the 22nd of 1990. I'm underneath that parked car. But the ugly side of addiction flashed before me too. As an alcoholic, a crackhead, even a prostitute, I got pregnant at the age of 23 when my youngest was only 6 months old. I decided to take life and have an abortion, and I consider that murder. At that time, I didn't think about the feelings or the consequences. I was fearful of what society would say and what the man would say who I was pregnant by. So I took life. I committed murder. And from that procedure on, I said, whatever happens to me, I will deserve because I took life. The rapes, the beat ups, the setups, setting people up, being set up, robbing dead bodies, stepping over dead bodies, passed around like a bucket, spit on, called all kinds of names. Oh, yes. The many suicide attempts, jumping in and out of cars, jumping out of windows, right? Even fell off a porch, broke into people's houses just to get something to steal, even from my sister and my own children. Yes. The flashback. And I said to myself, what's wrong with you, Edwina? Everybody else want to know what's wrong with you. What happened to you? And so somewhere deep, deep down inside, as I was feeling like the scum of the earth, I hollered out to this God that I didn't know. I heard he was a punishing God. Punishing God. He couldn't possibly love somebody like you, Edwina. But somewhere deep down inside, these words came out of my mouth. Whoever they say you are, take me out this life now or show me a better way. You choose whether you want me to live or you want me to die this physical death. I was ready for him to decide. Voila. I'm alive today because I was chosen. And if you are listening to me now or even later, obviously you were chosen. He met me, delivered me, and prepared me from underneath that car to be used by him to help save one more through a severe addiction, alcoholism, and a lifestyle. I've been set free to give hope to others. From recovery, emerge enlightened, to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. Free from recovery, emerge empowered, to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. And so, because he set me free, it is my honor, my obligation, my duty, my willingness to give hope to at least one more person. So I thank God these last 33 plus years. I celebrated 33 years on February the 23rd of 2023. I'm presently getting my doctorate in biblical studies just to learn more about the God who did for me that no other human being could do. And my dissertation is on how people in recovery, coming from all walks of life, how did these 12 spiritual principles help you to identify your higher power? I will culminate it at the end with my story of how I choose God as my higher power. I even got my master's in human services from Lincoln University, and I developed a training manual for the City of Wilmington's mayor office on how to utilize co-workers as peers, representatives to help them, among all of them who suffer from the disease of addiction or mental illness, to keep their jobs and seek treatment. Yes, I even I have a TV talk show called Choosing a New Way of Life that has been in existence even to the present. Why? Because I wanted to use that form to let people know that we do recover, but we have to share the information of not what's wrong with us, but what happened to us and how we can be put back together by a creator that has all our plans in his hands, right? I am also a motivational speaker, but according to Dr. Sonja, I'm a transformational speaker, a spiritual consultant, and a spiritual coach. Why? Because I've learned to apply these 12 spiritual principles that gave me 12, no, that gave me spiritual awakenings, spiritual experience, caused a spiritual transformation in order for me to achieve a psychic change. Now incorporating the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family and transformational teachings by Dr. Sonja of P3 University. With those 3 spiritual tools, I'm on fire. But I don't represent any of them. I represent the God who met me, delivered me, and prepared me to be sitting here before you today. And so I usually have on my mask. And if you go back to any of my podcasts, I use different masks to demonstrate the need for transparency and authenticity. Because underneath that car, I was a sight for even sore, swollen eyes. But my God didn't care. He accepted me just the way I was. Therefore, I practice demonstrating how important it is to remove the physical mask. And when we remove the physical mask by applying 12 spiritual principles, transformational teachings, the 5 agreements, we will learn how to begin to remove the internal masks that has bound us for years through domestication, right? And through the process of being conditioned. And through our 4th step, we go back and find out there's nothing wrong with you, but something happened to you. And through that awareness, we can begin to remove the internal mask. Okay? So that's enough of all of that. There's more, but I'll share it with you when I'm in front of you. Okay? So let's get to the topic of the day, right? And it is entitled, right? March the 26th, My Perspective of AA Daily Reflections. The teaching is never over. I'll be incorporating the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family and transformational teachings by Dr. Sonja of P3 University. So I want you to put on your spiritual ears, right? And I want you to listen, okay? Now, I thought I had this taken care of, but guess what? The author of the book, the co-author of the book, Alcoholics Anonymous, from page 164, takes this quote: abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you. Until then, all right? And the person in recovery, he shares, these words put a lump in my throat each time I read them. In the beginning, it was because I felt, oh no, the teaching is over. Now I'm on my own. It will never be this new again. Today, I feel deep affection for our AA pioneers when I read this passage, realizing that it sums up all of what I believe in and strive for, and that with God's blessing, the teaching is never over. I'm never on my own, and every day is brand new. Okay, huh? So now what happens when um, we think about a word, right? It says the teaching is never over, right? And so when you hear that, what comes to your mind? Hmm? The teaching is never over. The teaching, okay? Let's look at teaching. Teachings, right? To teach, to give away information, to share knowledge, to instruct, to give guidance, to teach. In order for someone to teach us, there must be a student, right? And at one point in all of our lives, we are students and we are giving teachers along the way. So, teaching, and this is the strong word, is never, never, never. Teaching is never, never. Ooh, I got to take a drink of that. Drinking my ginger tea. You mean to tell me the teaching is never over? As grown as I am, as much as I know, with all the doctorates and masters and bachelor's degrees I have? What you mean? The teaching is never over. Oh, yes, it is. No, it's not. Never. Why? Why? Think about it. Why is the teaching never over? Think about yesterday. What did you learn from something or somebody about yourself, about others, about a situation that you never knew before? Think, 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 because something new happened. Oh, yes, that made you realize, wow, I never saw that. I never thought that. It happened to me in my AA reading yesterday, where we talked about a full and thankful heart. Someone shared that they had so many blessings, they forgot their recovery and relapsed. This is a person with time that was shared in the rooms yesterday. Had so many blessings that he forgot recovery. I'm so glad I heard that, because I have never heard it that way in my 33 plus years in recovery. You see what I mean? So the teaching is never over. But the hit was, because he put all his blessings before recovery, he fell victim once again to the disease of alcoholism. I listened, I internalized, I heard. And we began to share in that room. If we just reverse it, and we do, recovery is the blessing. Recovery is the blessing. Recovering from that obsession and compulsion is the blessing. Do you hear me? When I was underneath that parked car, that was a knee-bowing experience, the one and only, that made me confess with my tongue that he is. That was a blessing. And the next blessing was that he chose me to live. The next blessing, he put me on a pathway to spiritual recovery through a 12-step spiritual program to learn spiritual principles. As Donald Lawrence eloquently says, we are not natural beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings living and walking this natural experience here on this journey called life on earth. So when we apply the blessings of spiritual principles that puts us on a pathway to be free from recovery, emerge enlightened, to give hope to others. It's a blessing to give hope to others. If we who are in recovery don't keep our God of our understanding first and recovery right next to him, right? Those are our blessings that sets the foundation for all blessings yet to come. But some of us become and forget that we need to remain teachable, coachable, that the student in us should always be ready. But more importantly, the spiritual student knows to stay ready for the spiritual teachers to continue to appear, because the spiritual teachings are never over. Okay. All right. So let's get back to our topic and let's see what he says. Okay. I got to take a sip of my ginger tea. Okay. Okay. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Okay. Now, what you got to say about that? You know, in our fellowship, we have atheists, agnostics, non-believer, used to be believers, all kinds of people, right? And in our fellowship, we don't tell anybody to believe in anything. But the process will help you, those in recovery, to identify a God of your understanding. And most times it starts with a higher power, right? So, but this says, you know, as you continue your road in recovery, right? Abandon yourself to God as you understand God, right? Through the process, right? And the spiritual principles, it is instructing us to admit your faults to Him and to your fellows, okay? I am not going to apologize because I'm authentic and transparent. Let me take a pause for a minute and let you know that I had COVID several times over the last 2 years. And this last time, after it proved to be negative, I had the continuation of coughing, and it bothered me. So I called my doctor and I did my research. And basically, what it says that the coughing may linger on for a while. That being said, I have coughing spells at times, so severe where I feel I'm about to throw up. And so I've learned wherever I am to remove myself. Sitting before you, I hit that pause button so I can go and allow the process to happen. Because every time I try to interrupt the process, it's going to have its way. And that's the one thing about being teachable. You know what to do, and we need to yield. So right now, my voice is much stronger because I allowed the coughing process to happen. And so, like I said, I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to let you know y'all can't give me CPR because there's nobody here in this studio of mine but me. And so I just thank God that I remain teachable. Okay. So where I was at was that it said here, admit your faults to him and to your fellows. When we do the fifth step, after we doing the fourth step of finding what happened to us, not what's wrong with us, step 5 says we admit it to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. There is something about admittance. There is something about revealing what you want to conceal out so that you can heal. So admitting that I am powerless over alcohol and that my life was unmanageable set the stage for me to admit all my character defects that I'm aware of. And somebody like my sponsor or spiritual advisor can help me get to the exact nature of those character defects so that I can empty out the trash that's in this vessel, so I can unlearn the negative ideas, attitudes, belief systems, behaviors that I learned all my life that perpetuated into my recovery. Yes, even in recovery, I'm still finding out that I still have character defects. And I am willing to admit, I'm telling you, ask people in my 12-step program how transparent and authentic I am. I tells on myself, oh, you better believe it. And so admitting your faults to him and to to others in the fellowship is gravely important. Then he goes on to say, clear away the wreckage of your past. By me, right, being in a 12-step program, embarking, internalizing, embracing, deciphering, conducting surgery, meditating, marinating, evaluating, assessing those 12 spiritual principles, I address any and all things that comes to my remembrance as I continue to grow, remain teachable, because more will be revealed. You'd be surprised how much we have suppressed some things. And a trigger or a light or something, oh, where does that come from? That's why we learn something new every day, okay? So then he says, right, clear away the wreckage of your past, give freely of what you find, and join us, okay? That reminds me of another fellowship where he says, drop down everything and follow me. Well, we saying the same thing in Alcoholics Anonymous. Listen, I understand. I even understand your reluctance to come. That's okay. Just drop everything and come with us. Follow us. We will show you the way. All right. And so then they said here, right? We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit. That is powerful. It's not based on this. It's not based on this. It's not based on this. It's based on the Spirit. But then, yes. So, if the God of our understanding showed us a pathway forward to a 12-step program that's spiritual in nature, around a spiritual fellowship. When we leave physically out the room, the spirit of the fellowship will always be with you. I love that. Okay. Let's see here. It says, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. Trudge the road, right? Trudge the road, huh? Remaining teachable. Trudge the road, but it's going to a happy destiny. When we trudge the road in our addiction, it was leading us to a spiritual death. And ultimately, the physical death, right? So trudge means that's okay. That's okay. If I learn to keep putting one foot in front of the other, if I keep the spirit of the fellowship with me, if I practice these 12 spiritual principles in all my affairs, I will trudge to a happy destiny. Can't y'all tell how happy I am? I don't care about these problems. They ain't problems. It's a problem if I start drinking again. Challenges. Life on life terms. Life dealing you all kinds of cards during the day. But guess what? We ultimately know who the dealer is. So as we trudge, we are trudging to a happy destiny. Ooh, I love this, I tell you. Okay? And then he says, may God bless you and keep you until then. So may God bless you and keep you until then. And obviously, it was destined that you and I are meeting. Yes. Listen, just this day, just this moment at this present time, so our spirits can connect. Do you feel me? I know you do. That's why they call me Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. All right, so let's see what the person in recovery shares, right? He says, these words put a lump in my throat each time I read them, right? As we read that introduction, how did it make you feel? With this reader, it said it put a lump in his throat. So the Ruiz family says in the 5 agreements, don't assume anything. So I'm not going to assume what that passage made you feel. I'm asking you. And listen, I won't take anything personally, as the 2nd agreement says. And then I'm going to be impeccable with my word, right? So you can't offend me, right? It's okay. It's about you. To thy own self be true. All right? And so what did you feel with that passage? He goes on to say, in the beginning, it was because I felt, oh no, the teaching is over. Do you know what it feels like when you have been devastated by something and you feel it's the total end. You feel like there's no other place to go. When you feel like, right, there's not another door to open. Good, 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 good. I didn't know that, but it's good. It's good. Therefore, the student in you failed. But the spiritual student is you, and you is about to be awakened. Because you're going to do like I did and confess with your tongue that he is. And you're going to say, help me. Help me. I tell you, that's why I love recovery, boy. Listen. So then he goes on to say, right, now I'm on my own. So when you are devastated like that, you feel there's nothing else, you're on your own, and okay, well, guess what? You don't get to say that. Even if you're trying to take your life in one way or another, you just taking the physical body. You ain't killing the spirit. Okay, you need to know that, all right? All right, and so, but at that point, you think it's over. But guess what he says next? He says, right, the teaching is over. Now I'm on my own. It will never be this new again. Today, I feel deep affection for our AA program when I read this passage, right? So he says, today, like today, right now, today, I feel the deep affection of what these words are saying, right? And it motivates me to realize that I'm breathing, I'm alive, right? I've been chosen. And being a 12 spiritual program and now incorporating the 5 agreements and the transformational teachings, wow, we on fire, right? As we trudge the road to happy destiny, right? So he continues to say, right? When I read this page, realizing that it sums up all of what I believe in, and strive for. You know, before we get really domesticated, as the Ruiz family talks about, you see children just as free and uninhibited and what? And the more we become domesticated, the more we lose that spontaneity, that instinctual freedom, you know. Why is that? Conditioning and being domesticated. And it takes away from us being free. And we become robots. Read those books, okay? All right, so let's go here. Then he says, right, okay, and that with God's blessing, the teaching is never over. Ooh. Do you hear that? With God's blessings, the teaching is never, ever, 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 ever over. Never. The Spirit lives on. He is the creator of it. We are in his image. We are the light of the world. That energy that the 12 steps talks about in the Ruiz family and even Dr. Sonja. That energy. We are alive. We are breathing, and you better make the best of it. You better learn how to be impeccable with your word towards yourself and towards others. Don't take anything personally. Don't make any assumptions. And you will always, always, always do your best, because the teaching with God's blessing is never over. I tell you, in my 33 plus years, I look for something new every day. every day. I do. I'm like, where is it? Where that? Where is that? Where, you know? And it could be right in front of me. I love recovery. Can't you tell? All right, so we ain't got but like 10 more minutes. I got more to cover. All right, so then he says, I am never on my own, and every day is brand new. Okay, so did you enjoy that? All right, did you enjoy that? Okay, the teaching is never over. So let's review for the week what we covered all week. All right, so let's do that. All right, so um, let's see. Let's go here. All right, so on Monday, right? March the 20th, we talked about love and tolerance. On March the 21st, we talked about material and spiritual well being. On March the 22nd, no more struggle. On March the 23rd, and no more reservations. And March the 24th, active, not passive. And yesterday, March the 25th, a full and thankful heart. So you see how these daily reflections offer us some spiritual information so that we could utilize them with today's cards, right? And so thank God for a 12-step spiritual program that will create spiritual awakening, spiritual experiences, spiritual transformations by dissecting words like this that will ignite the spirit within us. And that good spirit will manifest itself in our actions, our behaviors, and our attitudes. So we are no longer working from the outside in. We're working from the inside out. Woo! Lord have mercy. I'm on fire. All right. So then, now what I want to do is share with you, right, a little bit more about the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family. And so when it says be impeccable with your word, let me give you an example, right? Before I got into Alcoholics Anonymous, I would believe what others told me. One example, I wanted to be a model. Edwina, you're too fat. You got a big butt. You're dark skinned. You got buck teeth. And I heard it and heard it and heard it. So whenever I thought I wanted to, oh, Edwina, you too short. Edwina, don't even try it. You got buck teeth. And so my dream died based on what I was told and then what I told myself. That's be impeccable with your word and words from others. To be impeccable with your word, I began telling myself once I got into recovery, I forgive myself. I forgive myself because the God who chose me to live forgave me, but I forgive myself. I'm being impeccable with my word. When I learn to forgive myself, I can be impeccable with you. I forgive you. You got that example? Okay, good. And the next one says, right? Don't take anything personally. Well, guess what? Even with 33 plus years, I still do. But I'm aware of it. And when you have spiritual information, when you have tools that are available, all you have to do is use them, pick them up, and apply them. And so our humanness, my humanness, is the first thing that's impacted or affected. That's normal. And so just like we were domesticated, right? We can learn to be impeccable now. And say, Edwina, why did that bother you? Let's do some more research. Let's find out why that bothered you so that you can free yourself from that, right? And so we try our best not to take anything personally, but it's going to take time. And time is on our side when we have the awareness. And so what I may feel bad about may only last a short time compared to years. Okay? So we got people dealing with stuff years ago that happened because they took it personally, right? And then the other one says, don't make any assumptions. Just like I asked you the question, how did that statement make you feel? We assume anything. You know what assumes me? Make an ass out of you and me, okay? Listen, all right? And so don't assume anything. I'm not afraid to ask any questions. As a matter of fact, when those things that I took personally, I went to the horse's mouth and asked for clarification. Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. And the fourth one is, right? It says here, okay? Always do your best. So if I'm applying, being impeccable with myself, right? Not taking anything personally, not making any assumptions, I can always do my best, right? Because the spiritual principles, right, incorporated with the 5 agreements, right, and the transformational teachings by Dr. Sonja, I can't wait to be exposed to more teachings that are spiritual in nature. That's going to help me spiritually grow. And guess what? I'm going to be able to share them with you. What we receive freely, we give freely. Okay? I ain't got but a couple minutes, right? And then here's the last one, y'all. This is the hit. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. Now, you know how we talk to ourselves, right? Based on our belief system, based on what we've learned through our life, right? And so we learn to, when other people are sharing, telling us something, we're not going to judge them or criticize them. What this one is saying is be skeptical, but learn to listen. So as we listen to others, we are taught to become aware of what's behind or the intent of the words, the conversation. We're being skeptical, not judging or criticizing. We're learning to listen. And the same thing with ourselves. When I start thinking negative, I need to be skeptical of what I'm telling myself. So y'all know what that means, right? We have to listen to what we're saying, and therefore we need to be skeptical about what we're saying to ourselves. All right? You got it? All right, so I ain't got but another minute. All right, so I just want to, close out by saying this has been an awesome, awesome day. I got to share with you, a part of my life, a part of my mother's life, right? Huh? But I also want to share with you that I have my own company, right? Called Free to Hope. From recovery, emerge enlightened to give hope to others. And through my company, we offer transformational teachers, spiritual coaches, and spiritual consultants. Why? Because we want to share with you the tools, the pathway to the journey of becoming transparent and authentic. If you really know what it's like to be free, then you need to contact my company, Free to Hope, so that we can have a consultation of what your needs are, what your wants are. But before we can do all of that, we need to embark on the journey to transparency and authenticity. Through my company, we will direct you to 12-step spiritual programs, the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family, transformational teachings by Dr. Sonja, and more wisdom-related teachings and readings and experiences so that you too can trudge and accomplish a happy destiny. All right? It's time for me to hit the road. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. All right. Well, I'm heading down to Wildwood, New Jersey, to see my uh, 5-year-old and 15. No, my 10-year-old and 15-year-old compete in a cheerleading competition. But guess what? At 9 o'clock, I will be tuning in to my 12-step meeting that starts from 9 to 10. While driving, I always stay connected to the blessings of recovery. I will never, never, never put anything before God and my recovery. Nothing. Because that will be the first thing to go when I do. And we also learn not to give anything or anybody that much power ever again to make us go back to drinking, put me underneath that parked car, but now more importantly, to steal my joy, my peace, my tranquility, my serenity. Oh, I will use that serenity prayer at the drop of a hat. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And we deal with people all day long. We got one for that too. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that that person is me. Enjoy your day. Make the best of it. Learn something new. Then teach somebody else. To God be the glory. If we wake up tomorrow, if it's God's will, I'll be here, and I hope you will be too. Bless you.